Grant, thanks for having me.
So, taking yourself out of being a Navy JAG officer, but just simply as a veteran, what goes through your mind when you see that there are people out there faking their service to this country and wearing a uniform when they shouldn't be?
Well, it certainly makes me angry. I am not a combat veteran, but I can imagine if I were a combat veteran, it would make me infinitely more angry. I mean, these are honors and experiences that aren't just given out; they're earned. And when someone claims them who didn't earn them, it's extremely off-putting.
It's often called stolen valor, and it really sums it up.
It is, and the law on stolen valor that was signed in by President Bush in 2005, it was found unconstitutional by the Supreme Court in 2012, and then they revised it and have reinstituted it at this point. But I don't believe the viral video that we've seen. I don't think that he actually runs afoul of the law. At least there's no evidence that I've seen that he put that uniform on with the intent of gaining some kind of benefit. But I think everybody who does it is out to gain the benefit of just accolades from our society that rightfully honors veterans and reveres heroes, and he's not one. And is that the law, the specific laws, you can't do it to gain some kind of a benefit from it? Yeah, the law was rewritten in 2013, and now, in a nutshell, what it says is that there are certain specific awards that are related to combat service that you cannot, with the intent of gaining some kind of benefit or some sort of material from. And in this case, what I see on that video is somebody who had been to a funeral and was walking out of the funeral, and the Marines in the honor guard, it jumped out at me too. You look at his uniform, and you can immediately tell, not only is this guy not a sergeant major in the Army, he probably has never served at all. All right, let's listen to a clip when those two Marines confronted what appears to be this bogus Army staff sergeant.
Which one's this? I've never seen that before.
Bronze Star?
What?
This is Bronze Star.
No, it's not.
This is Silver Star. This is Silver Star right here. I have a Bronze Star medal too. Silver Star.
I'm going to call you out on it now.
And I would have called him out on it too. I mean, I think this guy's a sham. First off, if you win a bronze or silver star, you're going to know the difference between the two. Exactly. And not only that, but everybody, you're going to know that everybody else is going to know the difference as well. For him to, dress up his, I'm not going to call it a uniform. I mean, for him it was a costume. For him to dress up his costume like that, he was inviting everything he got from those two Marines. And one of the things I know that is a big no-no is you don't wear ribbons and medals. And this guy had ribbons and medals. He looked like a Christmas tree. He did, and the way he wore his medals, was ridiculous. He was wearing, I'm not completely up on my Army uniforms, but I believe he was wearing an officer's beret with a sergeant major insignia on it, which you don't do. And, frankly, he's pretty lucky he didn't run into a real sergeant major because he would have wiped the floor with that guy. Yeah, and, I'm surprised these Marines, it didn't escalate more than it did. This is when it does start to escalate, though. Take a listen.
That's called false valor?
No, it's not.
It is a federal crime for you to be wearing that uniform right now.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
And what you can do is get out my face right now, because I'm a military police officer also.
MP? Yeah, where's your MP badge?
MP badge?
Yes.
This is my car.
No. It's okay. We understand. We already established that.
Let me tell you something.
That you're fake.
I ain't fake.
Now, he says he's not fake. I didn't serve. It's one of my great regrets that I never served this country in the military. And I have such respect for you, Brian Bouffard, former Navy JAG officer, and all of the veterans out there. And I would go so far as saying this guy is despicable. I don't care whether he tried to gain any financial benefit out of it. But those two Marines, we don't know where they served. But if they watch their friends die overseas in Iraq or Afghanistan or someplace else, it is a disgrace that this guy would walk around like that and trying to get the respect of a real veteran. He doesn't earn the respect of a cockroach, in my opinion. Yeah, and I think that those two Marines, handled themselves extremely well. If you look at the video, they're wearing civilian clothes, but you could even just kind of tell from looking at them that they've got the kind of self-confidence that you can't buy for yourself by going to
the Army surplus store and buying yourself a costume. You know, you can dress up as Batman. It doesn't make you Batman.
Now, they had said that it's a federal crime to wear that uniform. So in essence, though, this guy wasn't breaking the law. That's what's so amazing to me.
Well, it appears that he wasn't. And you know, the thing I'd say about that, Grant, is there's all kinds of behavior that's reprehensible. I mean, when you make a promise to somebody and you break that promise, I mean, that's a bad thing to do. But I do think that as conservatives and proponents of small government, we really should tap the brakes on trying to make every bit of bad behavior criminal, you know, and say that it deserves a prison term or a criminal record. I agree with you, he's despicable, but you know, it also concerns me that, you know, sometimes it seems like we live in a country where whoever's in charge, if there's something they don't like, they want to make it illegal and punishable by the criminal law, and I don't agree with that. Yeah,
you know, you raise a good point. The only thing that I say, though, is it is so disrespectful to the men and women who put their lives on the line, and that though he may not be gaining some kind of financial benefit, I can tell you just from watching soldiers, Marines, and Navy men and women walk through an airport in uniform, this guy, if someone falls for his costume, he is gaining the benefit of respect from others, and that's respect he doesn't deserve. And so,
I totally agree. And you know, not only that, and that doesn't appear to have happened in this case, but to me, one of the biggest problems with, you know, the stolen valor issue is we do live in a society that thankfully, you know, honors its veterans, and I think there's an implicit trust there. And I think that somebody who trusts veterans or had veterans in their family, you know, they might give somebody like this a ride, you know, on a dark night when their car's broken down, and who knows what could happen, because these are not men and women of honor.
That's right. And it could be dangerous, because you could wear that uniform simply to gain trust of somebody, and it could certainly be abused. Hey, Brian Bouffard, former Navy JAG officer, I appreciate you coming on, sharing your thoughts on this, and again, as always, thank you for your service.
Anytime, and thank you so much.